Are going to solve some multiple choice questions on the basis of simple vapor compression refrigeration system. Normally, all the questions based on simple vapor compression refrigeration system are solved by using these two figures. This one is the line diagram of simple vapor compression refrigeration system, and this is the pressure specific enthalpy plot. In this diagram, these are the main components: compressor, condenser, receiver, expansion valve, and evaporator. Evaporator extract heat from the refrigerated space, and condenser rejected heat to the surrounding. And compressor required some work done on it. So WC is the work done on the compressor. Q1 is a heat extracted from the surrounding, that is refrigerated space, which is also equals to refrigerant effect. And Q2 is the heat rejected to the surrounding. This is the PS diagram. 1 2 3 4 1. Look at this. 1 2 3 4 1. This is a simple vapor compression refrigeration cycle. Now look at 1 2 5 6 1. This is a simple vapor compression refrigeration cycle with subcooling. Look at this. 7 8 3 4 7. This is a simple vapor compression refrigeration cycle with superheating. Now we are able to solve some multiple choice questions on the basis of simple vapor compression refrigeration system. Look at the first question. The vapor compression refrigeration cycle operates on reversed. As we know that the simple vapor compression refrigeration cycle, there are four process 1 to 2. It is a reversible adiabatic compression. 2 to 3, it is an isobaric heat rejected process. 3 to 4, it is an isoenthalpic process. 4 to 1, it is isobaric process during which heat extracted from the surrounding. So means in simple vapor compression refrigeration system, there are two isobaric process, one reversible adiabatic process or isoentropic process, and one isoenthalpic process. Now check all the cases. Number one, Rankine cycle. Rankine cycle is used mainly in the power plants, for steam power plant. In Rankine cycle, there are two reversible adiabatic process and two isobaric process, but is a power producing cycle. Joule cycle, it's also a two reversible adiabatic process and two isobaric process. In Atkinson cycle, there are two reversible adiabatic, one isobaric and one isochoric process. Can be used in internal combustion engines. Ericsson cycle, there are two isothermal process and two isobaric process. All these four cycles for the power production. So the cycle which is very close to this vapor compression reference cycle is Rankine cycle. But in actual case, it is not same, because in vapor compression system there is an isoenthalpic process, but in Rankine cycle there is a no isoenthalpic process. So it is very close to this answer. So appropriate answer for this question is Rankine cycle. So the vapor compression refrigeration cycle operates on reversed Rankine cycle. Now question number 2. The sequential order of different components of vapor compression refrigeration system. Look at this diagram. The sequence is compressor, condenser, expansion valve, and evaporator. Look at the options: compressor, condenser, throttle valve is also known as expansion valve, and evaporator. Compressor, throttle valve, evaporator, condenser. Compressor, evaporator, throttle valve, condenser, compressor, throttle valve, condenser, evaporator. So option number one, look at the option number one, compressor, then condenser, then expansion valve or throttle valve, this is there, and evaporator. So option one is correct. So in sequential order for different components of vapor compression refrigeration system is compressor, then condenser, expansion valve or throttle valve, then evaporator. Now question number three. In refrigeration system, expansion valve is on incorporated between expansion valve. Look at the expansion valve. Here it is expansion valve. It is incorporated between condenser and evaporator or receiver and evaporator. So in option there are evaporator and compressor. Look at evaporator and compressor. There is a no expansion valve. Condenser and evaporator. Yes, in between condenser and evaporator there is expansion valve. Compressor and condenser, there is no expansion valve. Superheater and subcooler, no expansion valve. So option expansion valve is in between condenser and evaporator. So option B is correct. Question number 3. In refrigeration system, the expansion valve is unincorporated between condenser and evaporator. Now question number 4. Which part of vapor compression refrigeration cycle produces the refrigerant effect? Refrigerant effect means the amount of heat extracted from refrigerated space to produce cooling. So amount of heat extracted by evaporator here. So this produce the refrigerant effect. So in refrigerant, which part of the vapor compression refrigeration cycle produces the refrigerant effect? So refrigerant effect is produced by the evaporator. So option C is correct. Now look at the question 5. During a refrigeration cycle based on vapor compression system, the highest temperature of the refrigerant occurs when the vapor leaves the now at this figure. The highest temperature at, if we consider cycle 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, then at point 2, and if we consider this cycle 4, 7, 8, 3, 4, so at point 8. So point 2 or point 8, it is at the exit of compression, because 1 to 2 is the compression process. This is at the exit of compression. So during a refrigerant cycle based on vapor compression system, the highest temperature of the refrigerant occurs when the vapor leaves the compressor. So option D is correct. Now question 6. Look at the question 6. In the vapor compression refrigerant cycle, the refrigerant is generally in the form of fairly wet vapor at the entry. Now look at this pH diagram. This is the dome. In this dome, there is a wet condition. This is a wet vapor. This, from this critical point, this line is saturated liquid as we know, and this is saturated vapor, and in between this is a liquid plus vapor, means wet vapor. So at point 4 and point 6 there is a condition of vaporization wet. So at point 4 we know that 4 to 1 or 6 to 1 is the evaporation. It takes place in the evaporator. The 4 and 6 is the inlet of evaporator. So now look at the question. In the vapor compression refrigerant cycle, the refrigerant is generally in the form of fairly wet vapor at the entry of at point 4 or point 6. This is the entry of evaporator. In simple cycle at 4.4, in case of subcooling at point 6. So it is the enter of evaporator. So wet vapor at the entry of evaporator. So option C is correct. Now look at question 7. During refrigeration cycle based on vapor compression system, the refrigerant exists as high pressure liquid at the exit from the. During reference cycle based on vapor compression reference system, the refrigerant at the exit as high pressure. So high pressure line is this, and this is the low pressure line. This is the condenser pressure line. This is an evaporator pressure line. So high pressure is available at the exit of compression. High pressure available at the exit of compression. Like then question, what question says? The refrigerant exit a high pressure liquid at exit. So here it is high pressure superheated vapor, and here it is high pressure saturated liquid, and here is high pressure subcooled liquid. So high pressure liquid is available at the exit of condenser. So option A is correct. Now question 8. Look at question 8. In the vapor compression refrigeration system, the refrigerant before entering the expansion device or throttle valve is in the form of, look at this. This is throttle valve. 1 to 2 compression, 2 to 3 condensation, then 3 to 4 expansion, and 4 to 1 evaporation according to the simple cycle 1 2 3 4 1. Then what question says? The refrigerant exit as high pressure liquid is solved. In the vapor compression refrigeration system, the refrigerant before entering the expansion device or throttle valve is in the form of, look at the throttle valve. This is throttle valve. Okay, expansion valve. This is 3 to 4 is throttling process. So 3 is the inlet of throttle and 4 is the exit of throttle. So before entering the expansion device, they are in the form of wet vapor in simple cycle at point 3. If this condition is saturated liquid, and if subcooling is there, then it's subcooled liquid. So wet vapor at low pressure? No. Wet vapor at high pressure? No. High pressure saturated liquid? Yes, it is correct. This is the high pressure line. At for simple cycle at point 3, high pressure saturated liquid is available at the inlet of this throttling device or expansion valve or capillary tube. So option C is correct for question number 8. Now question number 9. After passing through the expansion or throttle valve, after passing through this expansion valve or throttle valve, the condition of refrigerant in vapor compression reference cycle is, after passing through the throttle valve 3 to 4, at the exit of throttle is 4, or in case of cooled exit is 6. So at 4, the refrigerant is available in wet vapor condition. Means wet vapor condition. Option A is high pressure saturated liquid, incorrect. Very wet vapor, correct. Fairly dry saturated vapor, incorrect. Low pressure super vapor, incorrect. So option B is correct for this question. At the inlet of evaporator or at the exit of throttling device, throttle valve or expansion valve or capillary tube, the refrigerant is available in the form of wet vapor. Now question number 10. This is question number 10. The superheated vapor state of refrigerant in vapor compression cycle occurs. Superheated vapor. The superheated vapor state of refrigerant in vapor compression cycle. Look at this. At point 7 is superheating at evaporator pressure, and point 8 is also in superheating condition. Point 2 is also in superheating condition at the exit of compression. So at the exit of compressor, the vapor is always available in the form of superheated condition. So option C is correct. The superheated vapor state of refrigerant is available at the exit of compression. Option C is correct for question 10. Now look at the question number 11. During which component of vapor compression refrigerant system the enthalpy remains constant? For throttling device, that is expansion valve, maybe capillary tube, maybe throttle valve. So option B is correct for this question. In throttle valve, enthalpy always remains constant. Question number 12. During refrigerant cycle, based on vapor compression system, the heat is rejected by the refrigerant in condenser. So option A is correct. All of the following connection in vapor compression system require thermal insulation except between the compressor outlet and the condenser. Option A. Option B, between the condenser outlet and expansion valve, between the expansion valve and evaporator, between the evaporator and the compressor. As we know that the compressor outlet or at the inlet of condenser, the temperature of refrigerant is very high. So temperature is very high. So heat is rejected to the surrounding. Heat required to reject to the surrounding. So there is no need of insulation at the pipe which we are connect between the at the exit of compressor or at the inlet of condenser. So insulation is not required. If we require the insulation, there is no exchange of heat between system and surrounding. So to proper interaction of heat between system and surrounding. So the thermal insulation required for the pipe connected between the compressor outlet and the condenser. So option A is correct. Look at this question again. All of the following pipe connection in vapor compression system required thermal insulation except. In these three cases, we required thermal insulation. And in this case, compressor and condenser pipe connected between compressor outlet and condenser, we do not require any insulator because there is a proper interaction should be required between system and surrounding. Question number 14. The throttling operation in refrigerant cycle is carried out in throttling operation. Evaporator, there is no throttling. Discharge valve, delivery valve of compressor, there is a little bit throttling process. Capillary tube, throttling process. Expansion valve, throttling process. No? Option B, C, and D are correct for this question. In discharge valve of compressor, capillary tube, and expansion valve, there is a throttling operation in refrigerant cycle. A capillary tube, question of 15. Capillary tube is used in a small refrigerator to serve the purpose of. Capillary tube is always used for the expansion process. It is a restricted passage, so it is an expansion device. So the capillary tube used in a small refrigerator to serve the purpose of expansion valve. Now question number 16. The pressure in capillary tube decreases due to which of the following? The pressure in capillary tube decreases due to which of the following? Option A, frictional resistance offered by the tube wall. Option B, acceleration of the refrigerant in the tube. Option third, heat transfer from the tube, decrease in the potential energy. Capillary tube is a very narrow tube, as we know. The fluid passes through this capillary tube. There is a friction generated between fluid and the surface, due to which entropy changes, entropy increases, and it is an irreversible process. So option 1 is correct. The frictional resistance offered by the tube wall. Now option 2, acceleration of the refrigerant. Yes, acceleration of the refrigerant tube takes place. So option 1 and option 2 is correct. So A is answer for this question. Now question number 17. A capillary tube is employed in the refrigerant cycle to number one, produce cooling effect. Number two, convert refrigerant from liquid to vapor state. Control the temperature of refrigerated space. Control the flow of refrigerant. So option D is correct because it is a narrow tube which controls the flow, so expansion of fluid takes place. So option D is correct for question number 17. A capillary tube controls the flow of refrigerant. Now question 18. In vapor compression refrigerant system, a throttle valve is used in place of expander because if we use expander, there is a reversible adiabatic expansion process. The point 3 to this point reaches to this condition 4. So by using expander, the refrigerant effect decreases. Number one. So options are it leads to significant cost reduction. Not correct. It considerably reduces the system work. It is also not correct. Positively work in isoentropy expansion of liquid is very small. Work is required in the for expansion device. The work produced by the expansion device, positive work produced, which is very small. Or option C is correct. Now option D, improve the COP. Now there is no change in the compressor work, but refrigerant effect decreases, so COP decreases in this case. So which is correct answer? Correct answer is C. So in vapor compression refrigerant system, a throttle valve is used in place of expander because positive work in isoentropic expansion of liquid is very small. That's why we are using throttle valve. Now question number 19. The bank of tubes at the back of domestic refrigerator or vapor compression types. The refrigerator which are our home, it is a domestic refrigerator. At the back side there are black color tubes are visible to us. These are condenser tubes. So option A is correct. The bank of tube at the back of domestic refrigerator or vapor compression types are condenser tube. Now question number 20. Which of the following is not a true statement in the context of subcooling of refrigerant before throttling in vapor compression cycle? Subcooling. Look at this PS diagram. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 is simple vapor reference cycle. Then 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1. This is subcooling. 3 to 5, the subcooling before the throttling device. This is subcooling. By doing subcooling, point 4 reaches to point 6. In initial case, there is a refrigerant effect 1 to 4. In this case, 1 to 6. What are the options? The cooling of refrigerant below saturation temperature corresponding to condenser pressure. The cooling of refrigerant below saturation temperature. Then this is the saturation temperature 2. Now at 3, this is the saturation temperature, and the 5 is the subcooled temperature. So T5 is less than T3. The cooling of refrigerant below saturation temperature corresponding to the condenser pressure. It is correct. Number 2, increase in refrigerant effect. Initially refrigerant effect is H1 minus H4. Now refrigerant effect is H1 minus H6. H1 minus H6 is greater than H1 minus H4. Therefore refrigerant effect is increases by subcooling. The increase in refrigerant effect is correct. C. Reduced power consumption. Reduced power consumption. There is no change in the compressor work. In initial reference cycle, there is a compressor H2 minus H1. In final condition, there is also H2 minus H1. So there is a no change in the compressor work. The reduced power consumption is not a true statement. Number D. Improvement in coefficient of performance. What is coefficient of performance? Desired effect upon required input. What is desired effect? Cooling means refrigerant effect. And what is the required input? Compressor work. Refrigerant effect increases, there is a no change in compressor work, therefore COP increases. Option D is also correct. So which statement not correct for this? The option C. So option C the answer for this question. 21 question. The subcooling is a process of cooling the refrigerant in vapor compression refrigerant system before. Subcooling is a process of cooling refrigerant in vapor compression refrigerant system before. Where is subcooling? Subcooling at the 3 and 5. Before 3 to 4 is throttling device. Subcooling occurs before the throttling device. What are the options? Before the compression? No. Incorrect. Condensation? Incorrect. Throttling? Correct. Evaporation? Incorrect. So option C is correct for this question. Now question number 22. Which of the following aspects is not true in the context of dry compression in vapor compression refrigeration cycle? Which of the following aspects is not true in context of dry compression in vapor compression refrigeration cycle? Dry compression. So where is dry compression? There is totally dry compression for 7 to 8. 7 to 8 is a dry compression. Totally dry compression. Increase in refrigerant effect. Correct. Increase in power consumption. In previous class, we discussed that this 7 to 8 and 1 to 2, the 7 to 8 is more flatter as compared to the 1 to 2. So therefore, H8 minus H7 is greater than H2 minus H1. So if there is a dry compression, totally dry compression, the compression work is also high, refrigerant effect is also high. So we can't tell that COP increases or decreases. So improvement in coefficient of performance or complete evaporation in the evaporator. This is also correct. So we can't tell that the COP increases or decreases or it may remain constant. So option C is not correct for this question. Improvement in coefficient of performance. We can't tell about this. It may increase, decrease or remain constant. It depends upon the type of refrigerant we are using in this cycle, which is usually the costliest item in the refrigerant system. There are four main components: compressor, condenser, expansion valve and evaporator. The compressor is a costly item. So option C is correct. The location of freezer, question number 24. The location of freezer in the top portion of the refrigerant results in less noise in the system, quick cooling of the entire chamber, no overheating of the motor, no adverse effect on the environment. The more correct answer is the quick cooling of the entire chamber. So evaporator is located mainly in the top portion of the domestic refrigerator. Now question number 25. Choose the false statement in the context of vapor compression refrigeration system. Which one is the false statement? Number one. The efficiency of performance or coefficient of performance is the ratio of refrigerant effect to the enthalpy increase in the compressor work. This is the enthalpy increase in the compressor work, or this is the compressor work done on compression. So this is the ratio of coefficient of performance. So this is a true statement, not a false. For obtaining high COP, the pressure range of the compressor should be high. Look at this. If we increase the condenser pressure or decrease the evaporator pressure, the pressure ratio is high. In that case, if we increase the condenser pressure, look at this diagram. If we increase the condenser pressure for same condition, 3 is reaches to this point 3 days and 4 is reaches to 4 days. So this refrigerant effect, this change in enthalpy reduces. So refrigerant effect decreases by increasing the pressure ratio. So COP is also decreases. So for obtaining high COP, pressure range of compressor should be high. It is a false statement. Dry pressure permits high speed to be used. Correct. Pipe diameter of compression suction diameter is bigger than on delivery pipe. On the suction side, there is a low pressure, high specific volume. On the delivery side, high pressure, low specific volume. So suction side required high diameter pipe. It is also correct. So option B is a false statement. For obtaining high COP, the pressure range of compressor should be high. It is a false. Though for 25 question, option B is our answer. Now question number 26. Identify the purpose served by the receiver fitted in the refrigerant unit. Receiver is always placed at the exit of condenser at this position, which receive the saturated liquid or subcooled liquid from at the exit of condenser or at the exit of subcooler respectively. So this receive the liquid and which then supply this liquid to the expansion valve. So to reduce the work input to the compressor, there is no effect on the work input by using the receiver. To conserve heat, it is not used for the conservation of heat. To allow the variation of load. Yes, this is true statement. As the load varies, the refrigerant supplied can be varied. So it can be used for the supply of refrigerant or store of the refrigerant. It is a to allow for the variation of load. This is a correct option. To dampen the noise generated by the moving parts of the compressor. It is not used for this to dampen the noise. So receiver, it is used to receive the liquid and supply to the expansion valve. So which can be varied as per the variation in the load. So to allow for the variation of load is the correct answer. The option C is our answer for question number 26. Now question number 27. Which of the following statement is not true in the context of vapor compression refrigerant cycle? What are the options? The refrigerant occurs as high pressure saturated liquid between the condenser and expansion valve. The refrigerant occurs as high pressure saturated liquid between the condenser and expansion valve. High pressure saturated liquid. Correct. The refrigerant is generally in the form of wet vapor in the evaporator. At the inlet of evaporator 4 or 6, in simple cycle 4, in subcooled cycle 6, at the inlet of evaporator. This is the wet condition. So option B, it is a true statement. The refrigerant occurs as high pressure liquid in the condenser. Refrigerant occurs as high pressure liquid in the condenser. It is also correct statement. The high temperature of refrigerant occurs when vapor leaves the throttle valve. Vapor leaves the throttle valve at 4 in simple cycle or in subcooled cycle at 0.6. So temperature is low. So this is the high temperature. No, the low temperature is at the exit of throttle valve for vapor. So this the high temperature refrigerant occurs when the vapor leaves the throttle. This is a false statement. So for question 27, option D is correct. Now question number 28. In vapor compression reference system, the high pressure liquid from the condenser, high pressure liquid from the condenser or receiver is cooled below its saturation temperature to is cooled below its saturation temperature. Cooled below means subcooling is there. Cooled below, this is saturation temperature. This is subcooled temperature. So cooled below, so 3 to 5. By doing this 3 to 5, what will happen on the reference cycle? What are the observation? Reduce the net work cycle. There is no change in the compressor work. Reduce the net refrigerant work. Yes, the for initial cycle there is a H1 minus H4, and for final cycle subcooling H1 minus H3. By subcooling, the refrigerant effect increases. So reduce the net refrigerant effect. Not true. increase the net refrigerant. By subcooling, refrigerant effect increase. This is true. Reduce the pressure on high pressure side. There is no change in the pressure. So option C is correct for this question. In vapor compression reference system, the high pressure liquid from condenser or receiver is cooled below its saturation temperature to increase the net refrigerant effect. So for question 28, option C is correct. 29 and 30 is numerical. We will solve in the next slide. Question number 31. The capillary tube is not used in large capacity refrigerant system because capillary tube is a narrow, very narrow tube which controls the flow. It is a restricted passage. When the variation in pressure is very high, at that time the fluid cannot be controlled by using the capillary tube. For that's why we require a throttling device, a throttle valve for this. So option A, there can be a leakage of gas. No. Option true. Cost of capillary tube become high. It is not also appropriate answer. Capacity control is not possible. Yes, this is true statement. The capacity control is not possible by using the capillary tube for high pressure ranges. So option C is correct for this question. Now look at this diagram for question number 22. The vapor compression refrigeration cycle is represented as shown in the adjoining figure with state 1 being the exit of compression. At state 1, exit of compression means that is at the exit of compression the dry saturated vapor is available for the compression. The coordinate system used in the figure, this is the figure, there is no on x or y axis, there is nothing is given to us, so we want to know which figure is this, which plot is this, ph, th, ps or th. 122 122, it is a reversible adiabatic compression process. For the if this is TS diagram, the entropy should be constant. The vertical line, the 122 is not a vertical line, it is an inclined line. The inclined line in which typograph is available? In the pH diagram. In pH diagram is the inclined. 2 to 3. It is a condensation. It is appropriate diagram, not as correct, because this is look at 2 point and this is not a constant, look like constant pressure line. So this is not an isobaric process. The appropriate answer is pH diagram. Now question number 29. किससे बातें कर रहे हो? In a VCR plant, the refrigerant leaves the compressor and the evaporator with enthalpy 205 kilojoule per kilogram. Vapor compression reference plant, refrigerant leaves the compressor. Refrigerant leaves the compressor in simple cycle at point 2. So H2 is equals to 205 kilojoule per kilogram given to us, and leaves the evaporator 177 kilojoule per kilogram. Leaves the evaporator H1. H1 is equals to 177 kilojoule per kilogram given to us. The enthalpy of refrigerant leaving the condenser at point 3. So H3 is equals to 105 kilojoule per kilogram. If the mass of flow of refrigerant is 0.2 kilogram per second, the mass flow rate of refrigerant given to us, which is equals to 0.2 kilogram per second. So the refrigerant effect will be, what is the refrigerant effect? The amount of heat extracted by the evaporator for the cooling purpose. So the amount of heat extracted by the evaporator is equals to H1 minus H4. So refrigerant effect equals to Mr dot multiplied by H1 minus H4, and H4 is equals to H3 because this is throttling process. So refrigerant effect is equals to mass of refrigerant 0.2 multiplied by H1 177 minus H4 is equals to H3 105. By calculating this, we will able to find the refrigerant effect, which is equals to 14.4 kilojoule per second. So answer is option B is correct. Question number 30. In an ideal vapor compression reference cycle, the enthalpy values at saline points are as follows. At inlet of compression, point 1, H1 is equals to 1500 kilojoule per kilogram. At outlet from the compression, that is H2, 1800 kilojoule per kilogram. At the inlet to evaporator, that is inlet to the evaporator H4, and H4 is equals to H3. So H3 equals to H4 equals 300 kilojoule per kilogram. Then what is the COP of the cycle? The coefficient of performance is equals to refrigerant effect upon compressor work, and refrigerant effect equals to Mr dot H1 minus H4, and compressor work is equals to Mr dot H2 minus H1. Put the value of H1, H4, H2 minus H1. H1, H4, 1500, 300. H2, H1, 1800 and 1500. So we get the value of the COP, which is equals to 4. Option B is correct.